for a big treat. Hi, Oliver. Chef O, as he also likes to be called. It's great to see you. If you've
Thank
never
you.
if you've never seen an in-person demonstration for cooking, you're in for a real treat. I've known Chef O now for a number of years. I would consider him a friend. Yes, start counting. That's right. The gray hair doesn't count. I can say that he gave me a wonderful recipe for shrimp scampi years ago, and I still use it.
Thank
Very
you.
good. So
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Cheryl?
you. So what
Can
is it
everybody?
that you're going to prepare for us today?
What, Cheryl? Thank you for inviting me. And is that little lady Lori? Is she around somewhere?
Oh, yeah, she's here.
Okay. Well, thank you for inviting me out. I'm very happy to be here, even though I'm not at home. I somehow guess I'm doing a 7-course meal tonight for 42 people, myself and my crew. So we're at our location and we worked this in tonight. But what I'm going to talk about, little shortcuts, little things that everybody fight with when they go to want to prepare cooking. And, they say, gee, I'm tired of standing in the kitchen hour and a half. You shouldn't never have to be in the kitchen for an hour and a half or an hour if you prepare, prep yourself in time to do it. And that's what I love doing. And so tonight I want to start out with something a lot of people have problem with a breading. You have your chicken, your pork, your fish, and you have breadings. And what I came up with a solution was I pre-make my breadings and I put them in the freezer. You're going to say, in the freezer? Yes. What I do, I take a normal Ziploc bag, and we'll see what I'm going to do with it in just a minute. There's so many different, let me turn my little screen. I'm going to be working like this tonight, okay? You won't see my face that much. You're going to see my hands go to work. So there's so many different kind of ways you can make a breading. And one of my best ones that I love doing for my chicken, you can't hardly see it, but it's cornflakes. I do to make a cornflake breading. For my chicken, I do cornflake breading. For my fish, I do it like a flour or drake breading. And then for pork and beef, I do it like a light flour breading. But each one of them got different ingredients in it that I use. Now, so tonight we're going to do this. We're going to do the cornbread. I'm not cornbread, cornflakes. Not doing cornbread tonight, Oliver. You did that earlier. And what it is just some crumbled up cornflakes that they take. Take it and put it in my little bowl here. Let me tilt it down a little bit more. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just put in my mixtures. Like I have a little thyme, a little rosemary. I got a little Mrs. Dash. I love using Mrs. Dash because Mrs. Dash has a lot of nice ingredients in it that I love using in anything. Then I'm putting some chopped parsley flakes, fresh chopped parsley flakes in it too. Now, if I were going to make this for a fish, I would just use regular flour and I'll put dill in. I'm going to put a little basil in with it, a little oregano to give it a nice flavor for my chicken. And what I do with them, I take them and put it over here. And I take them and I take the breading and dump in my Ziploc bag. Take it. I think I got a marker. Yes, I have a marker. That's not a marker. That's a pen. Oh, here we go. I take the marker and I'll put on there chicken breading. And I put chicken breading. Then I'll put the date. And when I'm going to take it, I'm just going to take it, zip it up, roll it up, and a little roll like this. and stick it in my freezer. Now, why I put it in my freezer? So that way it freezes and you don't have to worry about the salmonella or any kind of growth of bacteria because it's going to be in your freezer the whole time. I got this one. I have one for my fish and one for my pork and beef. So whenever I get ready to do any kind of breading, I just take it out, drop it in there, shake it up, and put it in my pan. And since we already talking about chicken, let's do a chicken breast real quick and we'll finish up later. Okay. I have a little small piece of chicken breast here. And one of the biggest problems people have with chicken breast is, it's thick right here and it gets thin. It's thick and get thin. And what's cooked fast? This little piece down here does it and get nice and crispy, but you don't want that. So what we're going to do here, you take a little saran wrap and put over the chicken breast. And you take this bad boy here and pound it. Sorry about the noise, folks. And now you got it pretty well equal all the way through. So when you cook this, now way I do my chicken, way I do anything that I'm sauteing, you have to take it and I put it in my oven. So I already got my oven preset at 375. I got the oven preset at 375. And then now we're going to do the main thing. But one thing you got to have is this. You may not can see it too well, but what do it say? Olive oil. You got to have that to start out with. You probably don't have that out in California, in Texas, do you, sure?
No.
You do have it? Oh. Okay, whenever you're cooking anything, sauteing it, one of the first things you have to learn to do is never put your item in a cold pan of oil. Never. Because what happens is the oil soaks into your product and it makes it greasy. So you're going to let it get nice and hot. That's why you use olive oil, because it have a higher flash point. It don't smoke and don't burn. So here we got our bag, our breading. We're going to take it and drop this in here. Zip it up, and you're going to toss it around. Just like that. You don't have to worry about putting it on a plate or putting it all over the place and flour flying everywhere. And you know, it just makes it so much easier when you do it like this. And you're going to come out with breading on it. Now, I'm going to wait and let the pan get nice and hot here. And like I say, you never put your item into a cold pan. You let the oil get nice and hot so you can flash it. And what I normally do is take it. I'm going to test it here by dropping a few flakes in. Not yet. Not yet. And, you know, being a transplant recipient, kidney transplant recipient in the past dialysis patient, I try to incorporate a lot of protein into my cooking and a lot of fish, a lot of chicken and turkey. I've been doing a lot of turkey burgers, and then a lot of my clients love having turkey stuff. Oh, okay, here we go. We're going to take it, transfer it over here, and there. Okay. If you was here, you can hear the sizzling sound of the chicken sauteing up. Now I'm going to take this, Ziploc it, put it back in my refrigerator. Okay. Now I have to do the changing of the gloves, that we call it, because I don't want to cross-contaminate anything or anybody, although we only got a few people here that I'm going to be feeding. And now, see, what I do, what I'm doing here now, by taking it and getting it hot and cooking it up, it ain't going to take but a few seconds put it to start browning, and voila, you can see it's browning already because I got the pan hot. So I'm gonna take it, flip it over, and take it and put it in my oven. I'm gonna put it in my oven for about 10, 15 minutes, just enough to get it done, because I already got it seared on one side. That's what I'm doing, I'm searing it, so that way, when you cook it, the other side start getting warm and your juices inside start cooking, and you don't have to worry about it getting tough. It should be nice and tender. Sear it on one side, flip it over, put it in the oven, and go ahead and start your other items. Now, the other thing that I love to tell people about pre-cooking and getting ready to do things is one of my favorite dish items I love cooking is rice. Rice. I love doing rice because you can do rice with anything. And the thing about it is, you can make so many different ways of rice. Everybody thinks it's rice pilaf, where you just take the rice and do some celery and stuff, celery and onions and blah, 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 blah. I love mixing different items. Today, we're going to do a rice with pineapples in it, rice pineapple. So that way, when we do it with our chicken and our vegetables. And when I do my rice, again, I do it in the oven. I don't cook it on the top of the stove. There's a formula for rice is 2 to 1. 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. Whatever you do, 2 to 1. So you take a nice Pyrex like this, put your rice in, then get a cup of rice. Then you're going to add 2 cups of hot water. Be sure to put hot water in there. Don't put cold water. Put 2 cups of hot water in there and set this in the oven. When all the water evaporates out of the pan, it's done. You'll take it out, take this and strain it to watch all the starch out of it. You know how rice gets sticky and lumpy when you get ready and take it. This rice here, you probably noticed already that I have it. It's not sticky or lumpy. It's nice and flaky. So when I get ready to cook it, I can do anything you want to. Now, if you don't want to cook this in water, you can use chicken stock. Use the same ingredient, but use chicken stock. But then you're gonna change the flavor of it. What about if you want to serve it with a piece of fish? You already got chicken stock in your rice. So I always just like to cook it plain. And if I'm going to do something else with it, I take it and then just add it to it as time goes on. It's a little bit more. But like I say, I have this in my refrigerator every week. Like on Sunday evening, after I'm finished watching football games and whatever, I go in my kitchen, make my breading up, make my rice up, do some vegetables, get the vegetables cooked up, and be ready to go. Okay. There we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a little pineapple rice. I'm going to put a little olive oil in the pan. And just start it here. And there's different ways like you can do it. I'm doing it today with pineapple juice and crushed pineapple. You can take and use cranberry juice and chopped cranberries, or you can use cherry tomatoes chopped up and a little VA juice in it. Mix it that way. Mandarin oranges, take the juice from the mandarin oranges, put mandarin oranges in it. There's so many ways you can do your rice, so you have to worry about doing the same old way. So I'm gonna let this get warm. How's everything going with the seminar, Cheryl? Everything going okay?
Chef, we are having a great time. We are rocking. And you know what? I keep rice in my refrigerator because sometimes I'll make fried rice and it's always best to have it cold in the refrigerator.
There you go.
It only took me about 30 years to figure that out.
Oh, 30 years? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I didn't come along soon enough, huh?
No.
Now, it's one of the items, rice, pasta. I love doing, keeping pasta. Like I use a lot of small shell, seashell pastas that I do. Fettuccine, linguine. I love using those 2 kind of pastas. So when I want to do a pasta dish, I do, and again with the chicken parmesan, eggplant parmesan, just all sorts of things I love, playing around with. And then there's a turkey dish that I love to do with tomatoes and chopped vegetables, all mixed in with the noodles, and it's just different things. Now, I know you probably have my email address. I just want to let you know that if anyone ever needs a recipe, I know you have your dialysis centers, your transplant centers. Almost everybody now has a renal cookbook, or ways you can find information out. But
We
I
have
love
renal
doing
recipes on RSN too,
on yours. But I
on our
love
website. Yes, yes.
I love thinking out of the box. I love taking it and push it to another level that you won't see in the cookbook, like doing different things. I don't want to forget what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm gonna take a little. Let me adjust my screen. Ta-da! Here we go. And voila. One second. I'm gonna put. Oh, you can hear that sizzling. I'm gonna put a little bit more of that in there, Cheryl. I'm running a little low.
Did you put oil in the pan too, Chef?
I put very little oil because I don't want to use any wine today. I get criticized about using wines and too many things. If you don't want to put that, I also have a little juice, and then the pineapple. I just put probably not even half a teaspoon of oil just to get the rice settled in there. But I knew I was going to add the juice to it and the pineapple, which is going.
So do you like to use low sodium pineapple in a can, or do you like to use fresh?
Sodium or no sodium, everything. Everything. When I look for the flour, I look for the lowest sodium. I got in trouble with the Food and Drug Administration a few years ago where I did a function for the American Association of Kidney Patients, and I did a pasta dish that had 880 milligrams of sodium in it. And when I got done dissecting it, it wound up having less than 400 milligrams of sodium. And they flew me to New York to tell me that that can't be done. And I did it in front of them, and they want to know how did I come up with a way to take all the sodium. I just look for low sodium items because I don't use salt in nothing I do. Nothing. That's why I try to get people when they talk about seasoning, I love to talk about Mrs. Dash. Mrs. Dash is no sodium. Mrs. Dash is one of the items that has so many different kinds of herbs and spices in it, but no salt. And it's very
Lori
tasty.
loves it.
I love it. I love using it. And so with that, when I go to store, I do a lot of reading. Because everything you get and buy has salt in it, Cheryl. Right. And that's the only thing about it. And you can't get around that. You cannot. Okay. I'm gonna let this sit on the burners for a little bit. Now, when I go to plan my meals out each week, I look for greens, spinach, broccoli, broccolini, asparagus, green beans, a lot of green vegetables because of the fact that they have a lot of nice vitamins. And, it's just much better for you. The vitamins, the antioxidants in the vegetables. And a lot of people just don't eat enough vegetables, and especially the green ones. And I try to push that whenever I do these little small get-together. And I love doing stuff with peppers and onions, the red and yellow peppers, cauliflower, a lot of fruits, berries, strawberries, grapes. I love doing chicken with a white wine grape sauce. You don't have to use white wine, but you can use a chicken. use a chicken stock and make a nice cream sauce and put grapes in it. Oh, sure. You tell my heaven, you're in heaven when you have that. So it's a nice dish. So that's why today I bought two items with me because I didn't know what I'm going to do. Again, you can see I have some spinach. I love doing spinach, wilted spinach, or either just doing regular spinach. Unos invited myself and another chef out to Richmond, Virginia. We did a cooking competition. And when I got to the end of my competition, I found I still had a bag of spinach left that I had to use. So I just took it and made a salad out of it and changed the whole meal around and just made a nice chicken salad with it. But spinach is so easy to use. You can wilt it. You can just eat it like this. I love making a pepper, almost like a pepper vinaigrette with it by using some pepper jelly, and mix it with oil, and mix it up and make a nice vinaigrette and pour over with some toasted walnuts, and it's just great with that. But my main thing is green beans, then peppers, red, yellow peppers, and then carrot sticks. Carrots, I love steaming them all. Now, when you steam stuff, I try to get people to go out and find this little gadget, my little colander here. You can find these in the aisleways at your grocery stores. You have them sticking around where you can just go right up and down the aisles, and there it is. And I take this and put it in a pan like this and fill it about 1/4 of an inch past the level with water and get it hot and steamy. And I can drop my green beans in here in about 5 minutes or less. They are ready, nice and tender. But there's another step you have to do after you steam them. You take them out and you have a bowl full of ice water. Ice water, take a couple of cubes of ice and cold water and throw it in it to shock it, to shock the cooking process so it won't cook no more. It's because you know how many times you went to some place, you get this green bean that's half mushy and yellow. And why? Because they cook it too long and they don't do it. I take mine, shock them, put them in the refrigerator. So when I need to have some, I just grab a few of them, drop them in my pan, add a little butter or margarine or whatever you're going to, or either white wine to it, toss it around, add my Mrs. Dash to it, and boom, I'm done. I am done with it. So, let's see, I want to do this. But I try to suggest to people when you have time, or either on a Friday, on a Saturday or Sunday, just take the time and sit through and go through your days and say, what are you going to do this day, that day, whatever, and look at what you're going to prepare and start pre-doing some of the stuff a couple of days before. So all you have to do is get home and boom, there your rice, there your green beans, there's things, there's your flour, you don't have to worry about it. Go to the freezer and pull it out. And there's many, many, many more things that we could do, Cheryl, that you can do to do this up. I wish that we didn't have this certain thing called a COVID. So one of these days I have to get out there to LA again, and we'll do a cooking demo in front of everybody, and we'll make sure we have plenty for you to eat too. We're not going to tease you in that. So I got the rice, the pineapple rice here. I got it right in the middle of my plate, and got the chicken and pulled it out of the oven. And you can see, I don't know if you can get it, see how nice and brown that is.
It's
pretty. Well
pretty.
done, it's cooked, huh?
It's pretty.
And the aroma of the breadcrumbs and the seasoning that's in it comes out real well. It's not, no matter where there's too much white flour. It's not white flour, like I said. A lot of people, when I do cooking demo, people want to know, do I use white flour or brown flour? And the rice that I'm using is brown rice. I want to let you know that that is brown rice that we're using today. So that way people won't get mad or get upset at me. Then I have my vegetables that I cooked up here. Got some green beans, carrots, some roasted, some sauteed red peppers, and a nice hearty meal. Now, sometime I do a sauce with this, but I didn't think we want to get into too many sauces today. We'll do it at some other time. I'm going to ask Laura what we have to do is put this together with next summer and come out and bring Jack Black with you, and him and I can do a cooking competition, okay? Tell Jack somebody want to challenge him. So here you go, sir. That's your meal for today.
That's pretty. It's so colorful.
It's colorful and also it's quick. If you was at home and had to do this, it'll take you less than 25 minutes to cook this whole meal because you got your chicken, you got the rice done, you got the vegetables already blanched off. All you have to do is put the chicken in the oven. And like I say, that's at 375. So it's going to cook it real quick, but it's going to be tender because you already seared it on this side and flipped it over. So I just suggest that when you do a lot of your cooking, try to think about, like I say, pre-up and getting things done like days ahead of time. So you don't have to worry about standing in the kitchen all day and especially in the summertime. Who wants to be in the kitchen? I know I don't. It's my profession. So I don't like doing it. But there's so many ways, so many things, little shortcuts I tried to do in my demonstration, especially with renal patient. I just did one in Baltimore. I mean, not one. I did a Zoom in Baltimore, Maryland, which went over real well with the trio group in there. And we had a real good time with it. And there's some other groups that I've been doing. Milo, you remember Milo? He was with our group. He's in Indianapolis. I'm doing something for him next month in Indianapolis. So I mean, the phone is ringing. I got a lot of people calling and ask me to do Reno things and get together, do some Reno cooking, and also try to enhance people eating habits. And I just love sauces. I love making chutneys, like making a nice. If I were doing this at home, I would make a mango pineapple chutney to go with it.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I love mango.
Well, see, and it's all good for you. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's all kidney friendly. It's all kidney friendly, and I'm finding more and more things that I love looking at the recipes that, like say, you have, the other dialysis centers have, and try to not copy them, but I love dissect them, but make it within the realm of the dialysis patients. For them, like the low sodium, the low phosphorus, and the potassium. Make sure that I cover all those bases, but also mainly the sodium. And like I want to tell you and tell everybody, I do not use salt in nothing I prepare because there's enough salt in everything you buy. And to avoid that, I just take it, do the best, and come up with flavor, like adding the wines. I love playing around with wines and stuff.
Oh, yes.
I don't sit, but
oh, yes, I do too.
Well, well, a lot of people don't think we should be using it because, you'd be drinking and da. But the fact about using wines, liqueur, you don't actually taste the alcohol. You burn it off when we cook it. Like I say, I'm doing a dish tonight with some lamb chops. And what I'm doing to them, everybody loves to do mint jelly, but I'm making a peppermint snob mint sauce with the lamb chops. By taking some mint jelly and some peppermint snobs and little cream, heavy cream, and whipping it up and drizzling it over the lamb chop when I put it on the plate. And I'm serving it over spinach. Just serving it over spinach. And so I like I said, I just love to play with different things. And that way get people's taste buds going and their appetite going. So the one thing, a lot of the dialysis patients, I just did one over at University of Michigan, did a Zoom for them. And one of the questions somebody said, how come kidney renal food had to be so bland? It's don't have to be bland. you can do things with you. Now, do we have any dietitians with us tonight at all?
I don't know that we do, but we
No.
I know you're making everybody hungry, Chef. And there is a question.
There's a
Um,
question.
yes, there is a participant who isn't a fan of Dash and would like to know what other types of seasoning can you recommend. For instance, like I use lemon or lime zest frequently. What else would you recommend to add flavoring to
And
different
flavors,
dishes?
well, of course, everything I eat in certain spots, like in Michigan where I'm at, it's hard to get a lot of fresh stuff. So I do a lot of dry vegetables. I mean dry ingredients. And when I do get it, I get them in the little containers. I don't get the big tall container because they go flat quick. So basil, oregano, thyme, those are a good one. If you want to do something like the spinach I'm going to cook tonight, although I'm searing it, I'm adding a little heavy cream and nutmeg in it. Putting a little nutmeg in the spinach to give it a little flavor with the lamb chops. So like I say, the basic basil, oregano, thyme, and the Mrs. Dash. I tell people not to use the dry parsley because the dry parsley doesn't cook. It just goes in and it gets stuck to your your teeth and everything. I don't like using dry. I use a lot of fresh parsley. Uh, Never Lowry. No, I don't. No, no Lowry seasoning sauce. Somebody said, "Well, how about Lowry?" It's salt.
It's a
It is
lot of
salt.
salt.
Or how about sea salt? It's salt. It's salt. So I love taking my ingredients and mix them when I do things. When I have a little dish on my counter where I use not being funny, but I use white pepper because it gives a pepper flavor, but it's not as strong as black pepper. And somebody said, well, is that why you? I said I like the flavor that white pepper brings out. It brings out a real good flavor. And then when I talk about wines and different wines that I use, like I say, you don't freak out, but you see the name on that bottle?
I see that. That must be special in Michigan.
In Indiana.
Oh,
It's a wine company called Oliver Wine. And
oh,
when I did my
okay.
TV show, they were one of my sponsors.
Oh,
So,
well, that's
but
nice. That's nice.
everybody say use wine in a lot of things. That change the flavor. Wine gives the food a very different flavor. Because if you do it, you never put wine in a cold dish. You never put it in soups or nothing. You put it in a hot pan so when you hit
Hmm.
it, it flashes and burn the alcohol off. So all you have left is the grapes. It's the grapes the way they are. Now I
Right.
know we're getting close. We got about 5 more minutes, right?
We do. We do.
We do. And like I say, one, if anybody wants something different, a different recipe than what you see online or see in your groups or something I can do to add, just write me. Give me a shout on my email is hchefo at aol.com. That's hchefo at aol.com. I'm all over Facebook on Chef O or Oliver Hale, and you can contact me that way. And just I love what I'm doing now. I'm going into my 33rd year. Just finished my 33rd year as a successful kidney transplant recipient 2 times, and I'm enjoying the life I have. I'm enjoying the different shows that I'm doing, and especially right now I picked up pickleball. And pickleball, I played two national tournaments now. But I tell people you got to move your body, do something, even if you just go out and walk. You don't have to be a pickleball or tennis player, and eat healthy. Eat healthy. Your food don't have to be bland. If you just do it right and put together the right ingredients, you still can eat good and healthy and enjoy life. That's all I have to say. So
You've been part of the transplant games too. Are they going to introduce pickleball as a sport?
Yes, this year, 2022 in San Diego, pickleball will be there. We had it in 2019 and was going to do it this year. Last year, but didn't get a chance to do it. But pickleball is a new sport that they're adding to the games because I'm done with tennis. I shoulders out, and so they want to give me a new shoulder. So I don't know if I want to do that or not. But yes, I am very still involved with the transplant games. I'm looking forward to it. So we go to San Diego in 22 and we go to Australia in 23. So if anyone want to get involved with that. But again, thank you for having me, Cheryl. Thank you, Lori. Thanks for everybody who's online watching or listening to this. I hope that I was able to enlighten you with something. I know everybody know how to cook and everybody know how to do certain things, but when I do this, I just hope that I can just touch one person or change their eating habits, because as a transplant recipient, we all have to take our medicine and eat healthy.
Thank you very much, Chef.
And a shout out to our corporate mission partners for making this happen.